Hello everyone and welcome to the Pocket Knockers, the podcast in which we battle out our favourite series, films, games, cars. And today is a very special episode because we are doing Doctor Who stories. Woo! Oh yeah! In a turn of events, we have, obviously, Ed on the panel here, fighting against Coop Cooper himself in the top left corner for those watching. Man, this is, unfortunately, because I don't know too much about Doctor Who, and I have watched quite a lot of Doctor Who in the Tennant era, but I honestly, I'm looking at the list of episodes or stories that we have in front of us, and I'm finding it hard to remember any by name. So, hey, Coop, please introduce yourself. Ed, take it from here. I am the judge, ladies and gentlemen.
Lovely stuff. Well, yes. Woo! We'll start by... Yes. Why don't you do your introduction then, Coop? Tell us all about what you do.
Hello, everyone, and hello, the Pocket Knockers. I am Coop Cooper. I'm a variety streamer, kind of going down the horror route at the moment because people like to make me shit my pants, basically.
Nice. Good stuff. Do you do much stuff with Tina? By any chance?
Tina? No, I do not. I do not do much with Tina, as you refer to him. I do fairly often, when I say fairly often, I've done it a few times where I'd like to do community streams to bring people together, do quizzes and things like that.
Oh,
lovely.
That being said, Coop, picking up what you're putting down, for anyone listening for anyone listening right now, well, happy birthday to Ed and I, because it's our birthdays as this comes out.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Now you set the date now for me to release it.
Yeah, that's it.
See, I'm not convinced you will. That's why I'm wearing a Christmas Doctor Who jumper.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe it'll come out on time.
I'm wearing a Timeless Hoonigan t-shirt. But next month, on the 17th of December, on Coop Cooper's Twitch channel, there's going to be a big old quiz. Many people taking part, and indeed the Pocket Knockers, Ed and I, will be on a team to try and fight for, the right to party. There'll be beverages and... questions, I should imagine, Coop.
It's based on...
I'm really hoping I'll do better than the last quiz that you hosted because I was fucking awful.
Well, you didn't do the worst, so it's fine. The next one is actually based on 70s, 80s and 90s game shows.
Nice.
Wow, I'm not sure that I'm going to do a bit of my own plugging here, but I do often stream just game shows from the 70s, 80s and 90s, so I'm looking forward to that one.
I have very little to no connection with any of them. So, now we've done that portion. I didn't know that until now, and I've never been more happier with my decision to side with Ed.
That shows how often Mike actually watches my shit. Totally unoriginal, plagiarise everybody else's content, and that's how I...
I very rarely see him in your chat.
No, he's never fucking there. He's never there. The only times he ever used to be in there was in his previous job. He used to pop by on his lunch breaks, and he used to watch the stream muted. So that was good. True. I could just go, "Hello, you cunt," and it's fine.
Yeah,
except it's fine writing when we call him a cunt.
You just write it on a piece of paper and hold it up instead. Anyway, back to the podcast. As I alluded to earlier, our lists, or should I say, these guys' lists, are actually all episodes and stories. As always, the first round, they're going to have a list of all their best favourite episodes, and the wheel will give them an episode each. And they'll have to fight for the best episode and the one that they find the most pleasing to the eyes and ears. Then the second round will be the shit episodes, and they're going to be the ones that they deem to be the worst, and they'll battle it out for which one is indeed the worst. And we have a super special third round. Of course, I am not a Doctor Whovian. Whovian?
Very good. You got it right for once.
That's a thing. And because I don't know much, we're just going to fight any doctors that I picked in a list, and they have to fight for why they would be the best Doctor Who. I'll give you a quick rundown through my doctors that we have here. I have chosen 10. We have Dr. Dre, Quincy M.E., House, Doc Robbins from CSI, who's paraplegic, Dr. Phil, Dr. Nick from The Simpsons.
Hi, everybody.
Frasier, he's a psychiatrist. Dr. Evil, $1 million. Doc Brown. I had to put that one in there, else I would get shot by Ed. And of course, Dr. Lecture coming at you.
Is that Doc Brown? I thought it was Doc Brown, the comedian.
No, that's
Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Right, okay.
As you can tell, Nick, I'm sorry, I was going to say Nick, I'm thinking of Dr. Nick. Ed knew about this. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah.
You got a nice pleasant surprise for the last round.
Yeah, so we can look forward to that. Make sure you listen and watch until the end if you are on YouTube. But first off, we have they're good lists. So guys, what we're going to do, I don't know for those of you who tuned into the Cars one, but we had a quick rundown through each of our choices, and just a one-liner, please, on why you picked that episode. A basic synopsis. Ed, what I'll do is I'll do one of each. So we'll start off with Ed's choice of the Sea Devils.
Okay, yeah, this is at the top of my list for one big reason. It's the one that probably got me hooked on Doctor Who in the first place. It's from the Pertwee era. I caught a couple of episodes from different stories before this, Patrick Troughton mostly. But then I thought, I want to watch this, and then I started watching it, and I watched the thing all the way through, and that was it when I used to religiously watch it every week on BBC Two.
Okay,
yeah, that's mine.
Nice. Sorry, and the Sea Devils. What are they?
The Sea Devils. They're closely related to another enemy of the Doctor you might know as the Silurians. Right. So that was Matt Smith. You might not know it.
No. He was Tennant as well. The bald guys.
That's the Sontarans.
Classic mistake.
The Silurians. They are an ancient species of Earth. That they were deep underground. The Sea Devils are similar, but they lived under the sea. And this one, it was another one with a master, and the master was trying to use the Sea Devils as a weapon.
Good. I don't care. Heaven Sent, Coop.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I am a fairly big Doctor Who fan, but I'm not a great Doctor Who fan. As you'll see through my list, I've only got New Who in there. But Heaven Sent, and I will be honest in this situation, is probably top 5. So above this list in total. It is
okay.
To say it is I would say it was a masterpiece. The audio direction, the storyline behind it. In short, we're making this short, it's all about the Doctor chewing the scenery. He is being transported somewhere. He's just lost his best friend. And he is trying to find his way out.
Okay.
Billy Piper?
Right.
No, not Billy Piper.
No.
Fuck off.
Genesis of the Daleks, Ed.
Right, Genesis of the Daleks is...
Come on, quicker this time, guys. We'll be here for fucking ever.
People think this is a major turning point of the series of the Daleks with Doctor Who. This is when the Doctor is sent back to try and prevent the Daleks from ever existing, and this is when he first introduced Davros, the creator of the Daleks, and you get to really see the war between
I remember the picture of the skyline with all the Daleks descending on London.
This is Tom Baker. This is Tom Baker.
Oh! It's a very similar storyline to one that I've seen. Anyway, Coop, we're going on to Blink, and I must say, this is actually an episode of Doctor Who that I remember very well. I watched it a few times.
Blink is the introduction to the Weeping Angels.
Yes.
Within the most recent years, it's quite... They play on the base fear of humanity, I think. And that's what I'm going to say for now, just in case it comes up.
Yeah, I will also say it will be very difficult for me to fight against that one if that comes up as Coop selection, because it would be on my list as probably the best of new Doctor Who.
Ed, Remembrance of the Daleks.
Remembrance of the Daleks is this is actually my son's favourite classic Doctor Who serial, and it was when there was a war on Earth between two factions of Daleks, and the Doctor was also there, and it takes them back to the original setting from the first ever Doctor Who story as well. Sylvester McCoy.
Good. Empty Child / The Doctor Dances, Coop. I assume this is a two-parter?
It is a two-parter. It is from the first series, Christopher Eccleston, and it's about a converted child that is going around and converting everybody else.
Okay. I remember, actually, Christopher Eccleston's Doctor Who. My dad and I watched it together, and I remember him. It was a very early episode, I think, when he first encounters a Dalek, and Christopher Eccleston runs up the stairs. And my dad went, you see, they can't go up the bloody stairs. And then they did start going up the stairs. And he was like, fuck! Oh, my God! The Christopher Eccleston sort of, you say series 1, but it was series 1 of the reboot, right?
Yeah, this is where...
that's what I meant, New Who.
This is where I'm quite a nerd, actually, for this one, because they do run up the stairs, and they're like, you can't do it. And everyone's like, it's the first time ever. And it wasn't. It was actually a remembrance of the Daleks. Which was when it was first happened. Yeah.
Oh!
So actually, and it wasn't Christopher Eccleston that ran up the stairs either. It was that twat from Coronation Street and Billy Piper.
Oh, yes. Trevor. Right.
I thought we weren't correcting people in this anymore.
Trevor Coronation.
Yeah. Chicken. Ed, Enemy of the World.
Enemy of the World is this was recovered a Patrick Troughton serial. I can't remember, let's say 15 years ago, something like that. It was recovered, and I got it on DVD, and I loved it. It's for the main reason Patrick Troughton plays two characters. He plays the enemy and he plays the Doctor.
Good. Coop, Army of Ghosts / Doomsday, another two-parter.
Oh, it certainly is. This is as you said, a double feature. It's got two enemies, and it's the Daleks, the Cybermen versus humanity.
Wow.
I think that's all I need to say.
Okay. That sounds, storyline-wise, up for it. Ed, The 10th Planet.
10th Planet, it's William Hartnell's last serial in Doctor Who. It was the first one to feature the Cybermen. I think it's the creepiest version of the Cybermen, in my opinion. That's it, really. That's all I'll go on.
I think every time you say cereal, you have to edit in South Park. I'm super cereal.
I love the way you have to
every time
cereal in the spreadsheet as well. Thank you for
just
that.
had to note that down so that you remember to do it. We go from the 10th Planet to the 11th Hour with Coop.
This is the introduction to the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith.
Okay.
Tell you what. We're just going to keep this sweet from now on, all small, because we need to get on with the rest of the podcast. So, introduction to Matt Smith.
Okay. The Doctor's wife, Ed.
Doctor's Wife, this was brilliant, written by Neil Gaiman. It's a planet called House, which then wants to consume the TARDIS. And it ends up being a very interesting chase between the Doctor's companions, Amy and Rory, through the TARDIS, whilst House is controlling it and just torturing, trying to play with them. Not kill them, play with them.
We're not talking Hugh Laurie.
No, not that house. No, not.
Okay. Coop, Stolen Earth, Journey's End. Another two-parter, everyone.
It certainly is. Stolen Earth, Journey's End is the farewell song to Donna Noble. This is again with David Tennant. It involves Davros returning for the first time in New Who. And he has stolen the Earth.
Oh, I hate it when they steal the Earth. Ed, Midnight.
Midnight, I love it. It's one of your, what do they call it? A bottle episode where it's all set in, one place. It's the Doctor and another group of people. David Tennant, you might remember this one, where they are on a little transporter across a diamond planet called Midnight, and there's like ends up being banging on the side of the hull, and it's just a case of like everyone's scared, people don't know what's going on, and it's just all built on suspense. It's probably the second best thing since Blink.
Oh, I mean, I don't. That doesn't ring a bell, and it sounds like one that I probably would remember. May have to watch it when I come and visit. Coop, A Good Man Goes to War.
Good Man Goes to War follows on from Ed's selection of the Doctor's Wife, but not directly after. But there's a few tie-ins, and the story is the Doctor's companion has been stolen. She has given birth while she's been stolen. And it's how he goes about getting her back.
With a vengeance, I hope. Liam Neeson.
You'll find out.
So much to say in it.
Is Liam Neeson the Doctor?
I would actually say Rory's Liam Neeson in this one, which makes it even better.
Yeah.
Rory.
And you don't expect it at
one
first.
Of his two companions. It's really, really good.
Was he the black guy?
No. Rory. Karen Gillan. You know Karen Gillan, don't you?
Not by name.
The ginger lady who was with Matt Smith. It was her.
Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Rory's.
I know her from the
Avengers.
No,
Marvel films. No,
I know what you're. Jumanji.
Yes.
She's amazing in Jumanji. I'm a fan. Right. Ed,
she's amazing in most of the stuff she does.
Vincent and the Doctor is a really, I find a really powerful episode. One, because it's one of the very few times that Doctor Who touches upon mental health, if anything.
Okay.
And it's done really delicately. They still keep a good, funny story going, but it's tear-jerking, and it's really touching.
That scene at the end.
What era is this? Who is it?
Matt Smith.
Okay. Right. Coop, we got Sound of Drums / Last of the Time Lords, another two-parter.
Okay, this comes off the back of an episode where they go to the end of time, and someone that has been, we'll say, friendly throughout the episode turns out to be a master who has been turned into a human due to the comedian circuit, comedian art. And he has taken over England as the Prime Minister.
Right.
And then more shenanigans happen.
Gotcha. Okay.
You might remember
Sounds cool.
You might remember it with John Sim as the Master. Okay, another David Tennant one you haven't watched.
I mean, John Sim, no, I don't.
You'll recognise him if you see him.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, right, we've got Day of the Doctor, Ed.
Yes, Day of the Doctor was the 50th anniversary special. So there was lots of interesting stuff going on, and we're introduced John Hurt as a previous incarnation of the Doctor. So it was before Christopher Eccleston, the late great John Hurt. Yes.
Yes, I think I haven't seen this episode, but is this one where David Tennant comes back in for the episode?
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I remember him like tweeting or something and, dressed up properly saying it's good to be back on the set again or something like that. Okay, cool. Silence in the Library / Forest of the Dead, Coop. Another two-parter.
Well, they're very good, the two-parter. Well, some of them are. This is the introduction to River Song. Who for a long time goes through all of these, and you have hints. And this is where she first comes into the series.
Okay.
And she knows the Doctor very well.
Who's River Song, sorry?
Ooh. River Song is we're introduced in this one as someone who is important in the Doctor's future, but the Doctor doesn't know the person yet. So they use that time travel aspect, but they have a very close relationship together. We'll just say that.
Very.
And finally, from Ed, The Unicorn and the Wasp.
Unicorn and the Wasp. I love this one because it's just fun. it is it's one of those ones where you can tell there's probably going to be a lot of dramatic shit coming along in future episodes, and this is one where they're just going, you know what, let's just have a laugh. And they introduce Agatha Christie. Because they introduce Agatha Christie, they do like a proper Agatha Christie style, like
murder mystery.
Yeah, murder mystery, and it's
Who done it?
That sounds cool.
And it's a giant fucking wasp.
Good. Is there a unicorn?
No.
Sort of.
Well,
he gets a boner. Right. Finally, Turn Left.
Turn Left is a story from, you've got David Tennant, Catherine Tate, and it's a very Dr. Lice episode. It goes into the idea of if you made one slight decision in your past, how your life would change and how that would affect the rest of the world.
Okay, sure. I had this vision of them only being able to turn left.
No.
Which would, it would be funny, but yeah. Okay, right. Ed, if you would like to prepare those wheels, and please, we call upon the wheel gods to spin up some good ones for these two, huh?
No,
right, whose wheel are we starting with?
Can I just say, I'm impressed that at no point during this have you said they pick the subjects.
I
was
am
really expecting it just at least
aware of
once.
I've noticed you kind of the way you've got approached it this time is you've just tried to avoid saying it at all.
Yes, here we are.
What are we about to do? What are we about to do? Tell the people listening what we're about to do.
Ed is about to spin Coop's wheel, and that wheel will decide which episode Coop is going to have to fight for.
Fucking brilliant. How many episodes in? Right. This is Coop's wheel. Let's go. Spin. Tick, 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 tick.
Which one are you going to pick, Coop?
Heaven Sent.
Very nice. Okay.
For those of you listening who did not hear that because we were all exclaiming over each other, Coop has Heaven Sent.
Nice.
That's sent as in sent a letter, not sent as in, Glade.
Or American currency.
What would be the scent?
Yeah.
My wheel is spinning and I have
Remembrance of the Daleks.
Remembrance of the Daleks. Fucking hell.
Nice. Okay. So, I mean, just so we know, just so we're very clear, everyone, ladies and gentlemen listening, I will be impartial. I know that my compadre is Edward, but fear not, because in this realm, Coop is as much of my brethren as Eduardo is, and to be honest, we look a lot more like each other anyway. So let's kick it off. I am just going to start off, guys. I just want the synopsis of the episode, even though you just went through it briefly. Mm-hmm. Give me a more healthier chunk, yeah? All right, we'll do it as the wheels picked. Coop.
Heaven Sent. I was hoping you were going to say Ed first, so I can kind of prepare myself. Okay, so Heaven Sent. It starts off in a stone room, clockwork items on the wall, and a big, what looks like a shower cubicle in the middle.
Right.
You see somebody burning, and they hit the floor, and their arm disappears after they've written the word "burn" on the floor. Ooh.
Good.
The doctor appears and basically has a speech to essentially no one about how he's going to chase him down for killing his companion.
Right.
Therein, the rest of the episode is him being chased by a creature in a veil, which he exclaims is one of his worst fears from when he was a child.
Right.
And every time he makes a confession, this veiled creature stops. He can run, he can sleep, he can everything else, but all the time this creature is walking. And it's kind of an allegory for death, as in that this creature starts its life with you and it ends when you end. It follows you throughout your life. It doesn't matter how fast you go, eventually it will catch up with you.
Right. But the only thing distancing you is how many truths and things you own up to within that time.
Every time he tells one of these truths, he's in a massive fort in the ocean, which he works out. The rooms change. It's like a puzzle box.
Okay.
And from that point, all the way in up until probably the last 10 minutes of the episode, which he finds out there is a massive wall of, asbantium, I believe it's called, which is meant to be 100 times more hard than diamond.
Good.
And he starts punching it because, hey, that's how you get through it.
Yes.
It's 20 foot thick. And the veil catches up with him. He then starts dying, and he then drags himself from this room all the way back to the original room. Takes him a day and a half whilst burnt and falling to pieces.
Yes.
To which point he then connects himself to the machine and burns his body to reproduce himself as he was when he first went in there.
Oh, so he saw himself dying at the beginning.
Yes. At which point it then fast forwards where it has clips of him chewing the scenery and talking through, and slowly but surely he's telling the story of the bird from the Brothers Grimm. And he ends up being in there for 4.5 billion years.
Good. Yeah.
And over that time, he's slowly chipping away at this diamond, well, we'll call it diamond because it's easier to say than there's Bantium, until he breaks through.
Okay.
And the score, well, I've heard it without the score, and it's actually really haunting, but the score is such a build-up to it. You've got Peter Capaldi just chewing the scenery on his own, showing us how he thinks, because he's lost his best friend, and what things he would normally say to her or things he would normally say into his head, he's saying out loud.
Yeah.
And you really get to see how the Doctor in the Peter Capaldi form, how he really thinks. And, well, it's a beautiful and, well, philosophical episode at least.
Well, that sounds like a very thick, very deep storyline going on there. And in this episode, does he break through that wall?
He does.
He does.
And it hints to him that as he gets to the end of each, I think it takes about 4 days each cycle, because he finds millions of skulls. As you can imagine, 4 days, 4.5 billion years divided by 4 days is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Each time his skull survives when he gets burnt, and that ends up falling into the ocean. And he sees all these skulls. And he doesn't realise until fairly towards the end that they are all him. And therefore he then starts hinting that he remembers each time before.
Oh, right, okay.
So he has got hints of memory from 4.5 billion years of being chased around a puzzle box and then punching through a diamond wall.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you say it like you just said then, he's 4.5 million years being reincarnated, trying to punch his way through a diamond wall each time he reincarnates himself. That sounds like a fairly easy structure to get hold of, but it's all those separate layers and everything that they add in each episode that makes each episode essentially a mini movie that you can tell a team of people have put a lot of effort and time into.
Hell of a lot.
Okay, good. It captures that essence of Doctor Who quite well, I feel. It feels like there's not too much of a set going on. It feels like it's quite an enclosed sort of thing. It's all about the acting. It's all about it's all about the way it's displayed rather
Peter
than
Capaldi at his best.
Right. Okay. I mean, to be honest, I've not heard too many positive things about Peter Capaldi. I don't know.
I'll be honest. Yeah, his writing at some points was a bit weak. He was brilliant though.
No, sorry. Yeah, I don't mean he's shit. I mean, you always hear about these amazing episodes and all these good things, and I don't really see Peter Capaldi's face.
I mean, quite controversially, he's actually probably my favourite Doctor in New Who. I know that's not a common thing with people, but he is probably my Doctor.
I assume your favourite James Bond is George Lazenby as well, then.
Eat a dick.
Right. Edward. I can't even remember which one yours. Oh, Remembrance of the Daleks.
That is right.
Fire away. Synopsis me.
Okay, Remembrance of the Daleks was a loose continuation of previous Dalek stories that I would say started with a Peter Davison set of stories and then Colin Baker. But this one, it was Sylvester McCoy. What happened here was it was all set around Coal Hill School and Totter's Lane, which people might recall as that was the school the Doctor's granddaughter went to, and Totter's Lane Scrapyard was the first story, the first ever story that was where that they lived, and that was where the TARDIS was.
Right. Sorry, you say first ever story, like first ever
Doctor Who story, yeah.
Okay,
With William Hartnell. So it was a bit of like a nice little flashback there, a nod to it. But this was set in 1963, and the Doctor came back there because of something that was there that the Daleks were after. He left a weapon called the Hand of Omega, which could basically destroy planets.
Did they have a Seamaster version of the Omega?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh.
And so, yeah, he knew where it was, and he knew the Daleks were looking for it. Now, the thing with this is there were two factions of the Daleks. So you had the Imperial Daleks, which were like white and gold, and then you had the Renegade Daleks, which were more of a classic look. The difference here is the Renegade Daleks, they decided to separate themselves from the Imperial Daleks because of their xenophobic nature, where they believed everything to be pure, and they believed that the Daleks were no longer as pure as they were before. So they were both there trying to fight it out on Earth to get this Hand of Omega, which the Doctor was trying to protect. Also, it seemed. So it was a lot of fighting between Daleks, but also Daleks trying to use humans as weapons as well. Just a fair good bit of fighting. Good story. A very brilliant acting from Sylvester McCoy. I think he was really in his element in this story, to be honest. And the wonderful Sophie Aldred as Ace.
I do. You say they use humans as weapons. I assume they didn't pick them up and just beat people with them. I assume that they manipulated them to fight for them.
There were people there at the time who, it's once again it was basic humans with their own political agendas, and the Daleks said that they could provide them with the power that they wanted, and they were just basically using them to help aid them to get this weapon, which is the Hand of Omega. The great thing about the whole thing is you finally see that there's a fight between the two Dalek factions. The Imperial Daleks get it, and you see the throughout the serial, you see the Emperor Dalek, and then you find out the Emperor Dalek. It's like this domed Dalek, and it opens up, and it was Davros all along.
Oh no!
So he's the Emperor Dalek, and they managed to get the Hand of Omega. And the Doctor's there telling him that, no, you can't use this, and then they do use it and they fire it. But they don't know that the Doctor previously, he knew this was going to happen all along, and he planned it out, and the Hand of Omega destroyed Skaro, which is the Dalek's own planet. He was playing with them all along.
Right, okay. That's pretty cool. And just to clarify, what power does the Hand of Omega have? Is it like the Golden Eye?
No, it was just basically a weapon to destroy planets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just just a big lasery sort of scenario?
Yeah, well, in the end, it looked like they just fired a missile. It was that kind of thing. It was supposed to have certain powers, but that was the power that they were using it for.
So it's the equivalent of a modern day nuclear football.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I'd say more of a nuclear coffin, because they did actually bury it. I think he actually got an undertaker to look after it, a blind undertaker who thought it was a coffin.
And Sylvester McCoy, not one of the doctors, people, when they talk about historic doctors, he's not usually the first one that rolls off the tongue.
No, he was through excluding Paul McGann in this, who was in the 1996 TV movie. Yeah. He was the last person to play the Doctor before it was finally cancelled.
Because this was, 80s?
This was 88 or 89. I think.
Okay. Yeah. So when in my previous job, one of the guys there was very into Doctor Who as well. And he went to a Comic-Con sort of event. It wasn't Comic-Con. It was like, one of those Poundland versions. But and Sylvester McCoy was there doing autographs, and he took a DVD like his original. Well, not the original DVD. It was the original. No, it would have been a reprint or some shit. But anyway, he got him to sign it and stuff like that. And he brought it in to show us. But I remember one of the other guys saying that Sylvester McCoy was, I don't want to say ratty, but he had a bit of a different attitude. Is that right?
So I would say he was more, it's really difficult to say, because Colin
intense?
No. I wouldn't even say so. No, I think he still had a humorous nature about him. Definitely.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be. They were trying to bring out a bit more mystery behind the Doctor at the time. Like he maybe has he got underlying motives or things like that. They were really trying to push at that, and it was getting to a point. It was really good. But unfortunately, the BBC, after it was dwindling at the time, and it was a bit too late. Unfortunately, it was a really his first season was a bit not great. I'll be honest. The season afterwards and one after that, they were really good.
Okay.
And this is where it really shone, and it showed that it could still be so good. But unfortunately, I think it was a bit too late, and the control of the BBC at the time. I think he'd already made his decision that he didn't want it. He was the person that decided that Colin Baker should be recast in the first place. Colin Baker was actually the only person to portray the Doctor in the classic Doctor who was not there for the regeneration scene because he refused to, because they basically sacked him.
Good. So I mean, if that's the case, you just have to be sacked. His
regeneration scene was actually Sylvester McCoy in a blonde curly wig.
Oh, good stuff. Right. Now, I'm going to ask a question here. It's not the most straightforward question in the world, but what I want to try and do is I've watched episodes of Doctor Who, as I say, I watched some Tennant stuff, and the sets, like on the TARDIS and stuff, like you can tell that it's like a yogurt pot painted gold and then stuck to the side of the wall. And the set design sometimes is, you can tell that they've just made with what they can and things like that. You can tell it's not going to age too well right off the bat. Of course, right back in the early days, they didn't really have too much choice, and they actually, amongst the other television of the era, managed to make it look extremely awesome. I believe probably all of our parents have told us stories about them quivering after watching an episode of Doctor Who, fearing that the Daleks were going to come and kill them. And if you go back and watch those episodes now, it's laughable to think that was even a little bit scary. But what I want to do is I'm going to ask you a question. That question is going to be, in the era, how did it look? So you mentioned there that you've got basically a war happening, Ed, in your episode. Mm-hmm. And how did that look on TV? How did they, obviously it's not going to look like 300, or it's not going to look like, Gladiator or anything mass like Lord of the Rings or anything like that. It's not that production value, but there's something, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Let's start with Coop though. Coop's got a much more simple task because his is much more recent, and his set, by the sounds of it at least, is much smaller. So, Coop, do you think that in 50 years' time from the date that was released, you're going to go back and watch that? Do you think it would have aged well?
I believe it will. It was filmed in both Caerphilly and Cardiff Castle, because that was meant to be the
so they filmed on set. Okay.
Yes. So it was... obviously, you have a bit of CGI in there where...
I must correct myself. I said on set, I meant filmed on location.
Yes, I know what you meant. I know what you meant. And I may have even repeated what you said, but I know what I meant as well. So the outside and establishing shots, it looks kind of like a donut-shaped castle in the middle of the ocean.
Okay.
But all the internal shots are that from Caerphilly and Cardiff Castle. But the CGI will hold up fairly well, I believe. It's a little bit janky because that's the nature of CGI and Doctor Who.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you're right. That sort of that jankiness, as you put it, is it does add to the timbre of it. Carry on.
It's all a bit the aesthetics of Doctor Who. We can all agree are a little bit camp in the way that they are done, but that's part of the enjoyment of it. Is you enjoy the shit with the great side of it. If it was too good, you would expect it all the time. If it was even worse than it is, then you're probably a bit harder to watch in the modern era.
Without going off on too much of a tangent about it, my favourite sci-fi series is Red Dwarf. And I think from what I've seen, they are pretty much the kings of slapstick-looking set design and just making things look...
enjoyable jank.
Exactly, yeah. Right, Edward... yours, how does it look? How are we going? Does it look?
While saying this, I know I'm not supposed to be kind of pushing a Coop's side on this, but as you said, it's all filmed on location, and I think it was there was quite a minimal use of effects and CGI because of the nature of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Most of this was the same as well. A lot of it was filmed on location. It was supposed to be like a quieter London suburb, and they did very well with that. And the Daleks looks really good. I mean, it was the introduction of a Dalek that was only ever seen properly in this serial. They designed it for this, which was the special weapons Dalek, they called it, which was basically a giant. It was like almost a turret Dalek with a massive gun, you know. Like,
sorry, so you say turret Dalek? That's the when you say Dalek, that's what I'm thinking of. Is that a turret Dalek?
We're talking just one.
Yeah, this one here is just like kind of had a flatter top, and it was like very.
I want to find a picture.
Very war torn.
What's it called?
Special weapons Dalek.
More tanky than the originals.
Weapons Dalek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can kind of see it on one of the location shots there. It looked fucking brilliant, and I think this is why my son was really into this, because I mean it was only used properly in one scene, but they put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, and you can tell going back there as well. I'm sure Ed will put a picture of it on the YouTube version. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening, feel free. But Ed's description is actually fairly accurate. If you know what a Dalek looks like, think about that, but built by the Russians.
That's good description. I like it.
Yeah, and it's you can imagine back in the all the kids back in the day. If they weren't scared of Daleks, this thing was definitely going to keep them up at night, I'm sure. And it does look fantastic. And I bet you that's just in some warehouse, maybe even a museum somewhere, sat there collecting dust.
The managed to get it back a few times in recent years.
The music for it felt very 80s synthy, in a good way. They were really they were on a shoestring budget, as we all know.
Yeah.
And they did really fucking good for it. There were a couple of set shots, like inside the spaceship of the Imperial Dalek spaceship, which were a bit, not as good, but there wasn't a lot of that. And this one here, they really managed to use minimal effects. Because they were using the 1960s era, it was more of costumes than special effects.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. I think it still holds up. I know full well that it holds up because, as I said, my he's 14 now, and he first watched this as when he was probably about 6 or 7. Yeah. And it's his favourite Doctor Who serial.
Really?
Yeah. So it's. Okay. I think that shows how it holds up. He's gotten older, and he does notice that it is a bit janky, but he loves it, and it doesn't stop you from enjoying it. That's all.
Okay. Well, I've made my decision.
Oh, God.
And I am very sorry to say, little penguin pup. Oh. But Coop has won this one.
Fuck off.
Wow. I'm convinced that Ed would have won that.
I'm just going to say something real quick, and then I do actually have another question about these two to ask you, because I was very tempted to ask you whilst you were talking about it and use it against you, but I'll say in a second. But yeah, that filming on location in the castle, I already have the image of what that episode looks like in my head, and I've never seen it before. I can imagine the way it looks, the acting in there as well. It's all guys who are audience. I've never seen it before, but I really want to watch that episode now. And I didn't get that same feeling from your episode, Ed. I'm sorry, but
no, it's fine. It's good. Coops is good. I'll be honest. I had to watch it a second time to appreciate it. First time round, it just felt like a filler. Because it was pretty much the penultimate story for that series, and it felt like they were just doing it to get from one point to another.
Yeah, you says you with your fucking hand of Olympus. Right. My question that I was going to ask you was, knowing each other's episodes, can you... Oh, sorry, Coop, assuming you know the Ed's episode.
I've seen it once. It was a long time ago, but I do remember bits of it.
Okay, so I mean, your experience of those episodes. I mean, Ed just mentioned something that he was thinking about Coop's episode there, but you give your experience of each other's episodes. Start with you, Coop.
Oh gosh.
Or do you want me to start with Ed so you can do a Google?
No, I'm not Googling. I ain't Googling. It's fine. As we were saying, it's the introduction of the special weapons Dalek.
Yeah.
And although it wasn't as big a part of the episode, that's your main takeaway from it, even though you've got, obviously, as you call it, the Hand of Olympus.
What was it actually?
The Hand of Omega.
What was the Hand of Omega?
Oh, Omega, yeah. I knew it was a watch.
Omega was an ancient Time Lord.
Yeah.
Which we are expecting at one time for him to come back in News Who at some point.
Okay, so what you're saying to me is the one thing that you remember that stuck with you and that went somewhat well was that indeed
Was the design of the special, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, I mean, that's the one thing that I'm going to remember as well from the explanation, apart from the hand of Laura Sports. So I'm just going to go through watch manufacturers. So, Ed, Hand of Casio. What did you think? What did you think of Coop's?
Coop's. Yeah, as I said before, it was the music was good in it. I love Murray Gold's scores anyway.
Murray Gold.
It was really
I
mean, the fact that Capaldi was talking to himself all the way through it, and he still kept you watching for 45 minutes when it was just one person talking to themselves.
Yeah,
it was really well done for that. First time around, and I guess I felt a bit, what the fuck is the point of this? I felt plot-wise it was not needed, but and I still think think that now, but it probably wasn't needed, but it was still very well done.
See, this is why I didn't want to ask that question during the round, because that one line would have probably swayed me over. It'd have been like, yeah, it's a good episode, but why? It doesn't really carry anything. Okay, right. Whew, what a good first round. Coop's got a point. Hopefully Ed can pull it back with the shit round.
A point during all of this.
I would like to point out, I've been having a bit of a sore throat recently. Not that what before people say it. I've had my lateral flow, but if I'm wheezing throughout this, I do apologise.
Well, apologise to yourself, mate. You're the one who's going to have to edit it out.
I know. Every time I'm talking, I'm running out of breath, and I can just hear me going.
No, it's not that bad. Right, okay, moving on to that second wheel, Ed, once you've done drinking and wheezing. Sorry, yes, how dare I? Before we go on, we'll quickly run through the bad lists. Guys, let's do this quicker than we did the first time, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, start off with that again. The Curse of the Black Spot.
Fucking hell, bag of shit. He's on the pirate ship. People get cut. They get a black spot, and some fucking ghost comes and kills them.
Sounds really good, actually. Right, Coop, fear.
It was trying to glorify the 2012 Olympics 4 years before it happened, trying to get people hyped for it.
Okay.
It was just a bit crap.
Okay. Ed, In the Forest of the Night.
So everyone wakes up one day and there's trees and plants all over London and a couple of lions.
Good. Coop, 42.
They appear on a spaceship. It's got 42 minutes before it crashes into the sun, and they've got to do a pub quiz to save themselves.
Good. Ed, closing time.
Oh, yeah, James Corden.
Coop, Love and Monsters.
A Dr. Light episode, which are normally considered quite nice. It's just basically, what's his name? His name? Peter Kay. As a big green blob monster who's absorbing people.
I know Coop probably knows this as well, but also the character that he plays was a monster created by a Blue Peter viewer.
Yeah.
Good. Ed, Time and the Rainy?
Time and the Rani, it's Sylvester McCoy's first one. It was the one when I said where he regenerated, but it wasn't Colin Baker, it was him in a wig. And it basically involved Sylvester McCoy being erratic and rolling around the floor a lot, shouting at things.
Good. Coop, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe.
It's a Christmas episode. 1940s.
Those are usually like really big ones, though, right? The Christmas ones.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Okay.
It's a woman who has lost her husband. The doctor tries to help her out. Irresponsibly gets her. No. Irresponsibly lets his children into another world, which it's full of Christmas trees that's about to be burnt.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Ed, the two doctors.
This one was, we watched this the other day, 1985, I think it was. And it was Colin Baker, and they brought back Patrick Troughton and one of the best companions ever, Jamie McCrimmon. It was ridiculous, and it ended up with Patrick Troughton running around Spain with ginger eyebrows.
Good. Boomtown Coop.
Oh, you know full well that Ed knows what's coming up here. So, a member of the Slovene family who we met in a previous episode from Rex Corpalapatorius.
And happy families.
Yep.
Sorry, you fucking what? Rex
Corpalapatorius.
Yes.
Is that,
she has
is that a name?
Yeah,
it's a planet.
And she wanted to go away on a tribophysical waveform microkinetic extrapolator.
Okay. Nerd! No, I thought that was it. Rescatorius.
She's taken over as the mayor of Cardiff, and she's planning on blowing the whole thing up.
Good. Ed, gridlock. They're stuck in a traffic jam.
Yeah, they are. That's it. Moving on.
Is it a time traffic jam?
No, it's a traffic jam. We're flying cars.
Just with a Ford Anglia in front of them.
Ardalo Hanlon from Father Ted and my hero, he's a cat.
Good. What? Sorry, repeat that?
He's a cat.
Okay. Coop, the rings of Akaten?
Yeah,
fucking hell. This was going to be on my list. Most of his, I'll be honest, were going to be on the list, but this was going to be at the fucking top.
It's a fucking awful episode. So it's the first proper outing of Matt Smith and Jenna Louise Coleman, and it's all about the memories and the lives not lived from a leaf with craps.
And lots of singing
throughout.
And singing.
Yeah, too much singing. Far too much singing.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of musical Leaf episodes. Right, Orphan 52.
Okay, Orphan 52. Yeah, don't pollute the planet or else we'll all become monsters, proper monsters. The end. Oh, cool. No, wait there. That cunt from The In-Betweeners has green hair as well. Moving on.
Oh, yeah.
Arachnids in the UK, Coop? I mean, it's kind of like snakes on a train, or like...
Well, I think that's what they were going for. First on either of our lists of Jodie Whittaker. Basically, an allegory of Trump.
I had Orphan 52.
Oh, you did? You did have Orphan, yeah. Anyway, so a Trump-esque person, but Trump exists in this world, so therefore it's not Trump, is dumping a load of shit from all over the place and then building a hotel on top. All the shit makes mutant spiders, and they've got some garage music in there for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, was it garage? I always thought it was trap. I can't tell the difference. I'm too old.
I don't know the difference.
It's all noise.
Ed, you've got a two-parter, Daleks in Manhattan / Evolution of the Daleks.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, they're building the Empire State Building, but you don't know it. It's actually Daleks. And then this bloke, he's now a Dalek. But when he's a Dalek, I mean, he's got a pinstripe suit and tentacles on his head, one eye. Do they use the Empire State Building to communicate? Is that their aerial? I can't remember. It's shit. I think I remember seeing something where they use it as an aerial. I can't remember. They were trying to generate enough power to create their own Daleks. I think they were harvesting humans to do experiments and make Daleks. I can't remember. Oh, there's guys that look like pigs as well. Oh, nice. Coop, kablam.
It's Space Amazon.
Okay. Ed, Terror of the Voids. Yeah, plant aliens, bad. Good. Lots of plant-related things here. Coop, you've got Navi. Oh, sorry. Hey, listen! It's called Listen, everyone.
Right.
Got a Zelda reference in.
It is a story that is completely inconsequential to the plot, and it's all about the idea that you might have a monster under your bed.
Under your bed?
Yes. Good.
Ed, Praxius.
Everything that's plastic now. Plastic's bad.
Is that plastic spade?
No, plastics.
Plastic's bad.
Birds have plastic in them because of the plastic in the world and aliens.
Yeah, too much plastic.
These are plastic aliens.
So, have we? Not to piss Greta Thunberg off, but I mean, why? So far, they're all about leaves and
right. Okay,
things
no,
like
this
that.
one here, I am all for putting a important message into Doctor Who, but make a good fucking story out of it.
Well, yeah, not only that, but you guys have just reeled off about 5 episodes in which they're talking about the environment and keeping it. Look,
yeah,
guys,
but the stories are shit.
Do your bit and all that, but yeah,
no, this is not about the underlying story. This is the story of the episodes that we're.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was Praxius. Is it plastic stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, finally, Coop, you, A Town Called Mercy.
Alien makes an alien Terminator. Alien Terminator wants to kill the alien because he's a bad man.
I mean, it sounds great.
It's good.
No, it's really shoddy. It's shoddy as hell.
It.
Each their own.
Right.
We're bound to have some crossovers.
As well, Terminator,
I got that.
Wild West.
Come on. Sounds great.
It's not. Well, to me, it's not. And to be fair, I'm surprised there's not more crossover on all of our lists of things that we both like that the other one hates and vice versa.
Yeah.
Because,
I've got to say, the Curse of the Black Spot, the piratey one, and A Town Called Mercy, they sound great. About pirates and things like that I fucking love. I like cowboy shit and Terminator things where I guess it's not a Terminator thing, it's an alien, but still. Yeah. No, I'm in for it. But yeah, I hope to hear one of those in more detail in a minute. Ed, can you please fondle some wheels for us?
Yeah.
Whilst he's fondling that wheel, I will just say lots of our fellow Whovians don't understand that we can all like and dislike what we like within the franchise.
Oh, I am totally with you there.
You'll get some very militant.
I had a conversation with someone the other day where the reason I hate Doctor Who, if any, is because of Doctor Who fans. They gatekeep everything and they don't believe anyone else's opinions are valid. They're fucking awful, honestly. And bearing in mind, the whole thing about Doctor Who, a lot of it is supposed to be about accepting people are different, and people just don't fucking like it. They're cunts.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
This is Coop's wheel, I believe.
It is Coop's wheel. It's got listen on it.
All right. I will spin it. Clickety, clickety, click, 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 click.
Click, it's Love and Monsters.
Okay, I've got my work cut out for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I might be shit at explaining it.
Well, that's the aim of the game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. And here
Ed's
comes
wheel.
Mine.
Click, 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 click. Orphan 52.
Hell. Okay, right.
It's going to be close. So I will graciously allow you to go first because I went first last time.
It's not your choice. It's Mike's choice.
It's true. Right, Coop. No. Ed.
Yes.
Before I do lay into Coop, I do have a quick question about yours. Orphan 52. Is it the same storyline as V for Vendetta? Where he's an orphan, gets fucking chinned, locked in a jail cell and stuff like that.
Orphan refers to the planet.
Oh, okay. I literally thought it was Orphan number 52's gone a bit mental and killed everyone.
No.
Okay, no probs. Right. In that case, please, Coop, Love and Monsters. Yeah. Synopsis, please, my love.
Okay, so there are a group of people who have noticed the Doctor over the years.
Yeah.
They call themselves Linda. Heaven knows I can't remember what that stands for. Because
do you want me to help?
No, I was just but you can go on to that in a second, but what I'll say is Ed will attest to this. When it comes to the episodes we don't like, when we're doing a rewatch, we skip over those bastards. So much so that this is the lists that I was worrying about the most, because I probably haven't watched them in a good 5, maybe 8 years, however long ago it was.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? You're not going to watch the ones that you consider to be shit, are you?
I watched it last year.
Twice.
Why would you do that to yourself? So anyway, these characters are meeting up and they're exchanging stories. They've had an encounter of some sort at one point in their life with the Doctor.
Okay, makes sense. I like it so far.
This business-looking man decides to join, and you can tell he's a bit odd because he mispronounces words like eczema, which he claims he has, is eczema. And the reason why he doesn't want people to touch him is because of his eczema, but it's actually because if anyone touches him, they'll be absorbed into his body. And which, from that point, he then goes around trying to send them on little missions whilst slowly picking off the group. There's a little bit of Electric Light Orchestra in there, which is quite a nice input of that. It's just one of the characters dancing around his room. And the story is mainly told from the perspective of a webcam. The main character's talking to a webcam majority of the way through it. And it all turns out because the Doctor eventually turns up and basically melts the alien, which, as Ed has already said, was a creation from a Blue Peter child.
This is Peter Kay, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right.
These characters start melting away with him, and he manages to seal the love interest of the main character in a paving slab, in which they allude to that they still have some form of love life. It's just a face. It's just a face in a slab of concrete, and he's obviously grabbing that at night and going to town on it.
Wow. Slobber slab. Right. I mean, I'd hate to say it, Coop, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, you haven't watched it.
Okay, right. We'll come back and we're going to have to do some probing in a bit.
I'm trying to keep quiet on it. I'm trying to keep quiet. So I'm...
Okay, right.
Before we go any further, are you a fan of Love and Monsters?
There are bits of it I appreciate.
Oh, no, Ed, stop. No, not allowed to talk about each other's episodes until we're done.
Yes.
That's fine.
I know.
Right. Ed, Orphan 52 me, son.
Right, okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly how this works at the beginning of it, because it's been ages. I think from memory, it's like there's a coffee machine in the TARDIS or whatever, and this coffee machine gives you like a free ticket to something, or it's bits of a cube or whatever. They put this cube together, and then the next minute they're transported to a tranquility spa on a planet. This is Jodie Whittaker's Doctor with her 3 companions.
Okay.
Well, Bradley Walsh. What's it? Graham and Yaz and the other one. I'm trying to remember his name. You can't remember his name, can you? No.
It's a Tiny Temper.
It's Ryan. That's the one. That's the guy. But so they go there. So Bradley Walsh's character, he goes off to chat to this older couple. They've been happily unmarried for years, but he finally wants to propose to her, and they're chatting away. Meanwhile, Ryan's off to go to use a vending machine to get a snack, and in that snack, apparently there's what's called a hopper virus, which is like a digital virus that can affect systems, and someone may have put it there for a reason, and that virus starts affecting the systems at the spa. And then for some reason or whatever.
Sorry, spa?
Yeah. Spa, yeah.
Spa is in health retreat, massages.
Yeah.
Okay, not spa as in corner shop.
Not the corner shop, no. Okay. That affected the Premier in, though. No. So...
It's a very hot room.
It's a hot room.
Very hot room.
This... fuck off.
As soon as I walked in.
So this fucking this place, suddenly there's a monster that comes along and attacks people as it does. Oh, where's it come from? Oh, we don't know. And then after a while, they realise they're on what they call a fakeation, because it's
VR.
It's a fabricated environment on a desolate planet. This desolate planet is known as Orphan 52. And the reason it's called an orphan planet is because it's uninhabitable.
Right.
But to escape these monsters, I believe they then go away from this vacation, and then they're in the middle of nowhere. And while they're there, the next minute, I believe they start seeing they're underground, trying to escape these things. Oh, by this point, one of the women have already been killed and attacked by the older woman had been attacked and killed because she was trying to rescue her husband, who was already dead because he was killed by them as well. And James Buckley with green hair is also there. And then they find out that when they're underground, that it's actually, I think it was part of, I can't remember if it was London Underground. I can't remember, but they realised then, oh shit, is this Earth? And like the doctor's going, trying to ignore it, and then they're going, but is it Earth? But we've been in the future, so we know what Earth looks like in the future. How can this be it? But effectively, by the end of it, it comes down to it. That is one possible outcome of what Earth could be in the future if we don't do something about it. And they found out that these predatorial apex monsters that were chasing them were humans after all. And that's what we evolved to on a desolate planet because we destroyed the planet. We fucked it up.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds... I mean, I don't really think the storyline on a basis sounds good, right? I like the vacation idea. Mm-hmm. I like the desolate planet. I like that they're being chased by these things that are trying to kill them, and they actually turn out to be humans and evolution in like the future. I like that. The fact that, well, everything you just said then to get there sounded crap. I could sense.
Yeah, it was a bit. That's the problem. It was shit.
Going around the houses.
I will admit there was one part where this older woman, I think her husband was called Benny. I remember her shouting out Benny a lot. She went out to try and find her husband, and then she found out that it wasn't there, and then she was killed as well. And that moment, that like 5 minutes where they're there in this transporter, it was good. It was like a couple of minutes where it was good, and then the bit after was boring, and the bit before was absurd.
Okay, now Coop.
One thing for Ed before you go on, Mike. To me, sci-fi is always to tell real stories and real proverbs in a sense that you make the conclusions yourself. And in Ed's, they were far too heavy-handed with the "this is Earth." They could have made it any planet, and it would probably improve the story quite a bit.
Yeah. The biggest thing that this era of Doctor Who, because this was not the series we're on at the minute, this was from the series before. The biggest problem that they've had is exposition. They're constantly explaining every single thing that is happening on screen at you.
Shipple's not going to
all the time. No, it's just dumbs it down all the time. Thank you very much for that, Coop.
There's no problem.
So,
I had to say.
So, Coop, your storyline at the moment, it sounds like quite positive, as I mentioned earlier. So, come on, can you highlight some of that negativity for me? What echoes about it?
This will give a bit of editing for Ed in here. Now, obviously, I've said that the camp effects are quite good with Doctor Who. You enjoy it partially because of that. Could you do me one favour, Mike? Could you Google the word Absorbalov? I can spell it if you wish.
Absorbaloff.
Oh, right.
Obzorballoff.
OBZ.
Whilst he's typing that in, it was London Investigation Detective Agency.
That was it.
Can you, sorry, do you just spell it again?
ABZORBALLOFF.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've seen this thing before.
Yes, that is Peter Kay in one of the worst costumes I've ever seen in Doctor Who. And
I want my baby back.
I just think the underlying story is just lacking, in my opinion, because I know that Ed likes it.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean. I mean,
I feel like it was pushed in there for the competition.
Yeah. I mean, Peter Kay himself, I feel like, I mean, obviously he does comedy normally, Phoenix Nights and such, like stand-up, we all know him for that. Gallic bread, but...
I didn't find him comical at any point within this episode.
Would you say he was playing more of a dramatic character in this rather than a funny character? Was he trying to be funny? Is that what you mean? And it wasn't coming off right?
He was trying to act funny, I will say. He wasn't trying to be funny, and he wasn't trying to be serious. He was trying to act like a creepy weirdo.
Right, okay, yeah. Mission accomplished on that front then. Okay, I mean... Yeah, I see what you mean. I see him on set as well, like he's literally just running around London in that fucking suit.
Yeah.
It does look like Fat Bastard, everyone listening. I'm sure for those watching, Ed will put a picture over. But yeah, it looks kind of like Fat Bastard with a little bit of the guy who tells Quaid to get to the reactor from Total Recall, that sort of thing going.
Your mind. Quarto, isn't it?
Yes, Quarto. Yeah, Quarto. Yeah, Quarto. Yeah, something like that. Quarto. Whatever.
Yeah.
I fully get what you mean. Oh shit! Yeah, just watched a GIF where he sucks someone into his hand. Mm-hmm. The special effects are awful. So, Coop, the storyline of this, you mentioned Linda at the beginning, and you said, as Ed will know, we just skip over these because they're always shit. Is the Doctor present in this episode at all, or is it completely separate?
He is present in flashbacks. For example, the main character, he remembers him from a childhood experience.
Yeah. And
the others talk about their experiences, and then he appears at the end to fix everything.
So
it is very much... He turns up with his sonic screwdriver, they smash a cane, and everything's good again. And now this man's being sucked off by a paving slab.
So he does save the day, does Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Which Doctor is this? Is it Tennant?
This is Tennant, yes.
It's very early Tennant, season 1.
It's his first. It's his first series, so it's series 2.
Is it?
It's series 2 of the revival.
Oh yeah, his first one. Yeah,
yeah, his first. Yeah,
yeah. I'm trying. I'm going to go through it after his decision because I want to talk about this one.
I feel like
I'm happy for you to do so.
I feel like there's so much hate to give to this whole the premise of this, the whole story. I'm finding it hard. Like the storyline, it makes sense. It's quite straightforward. It looks comical. It's aimed at kids, maybe. In some respect,
that's possibly what it is. Now, we all know that aspects of Doctor Who are aimed at kids and some's aimed at adults.
Yeah,
I normally like episodes that have a bit of both in each.
Okay.
I don't like the ones that, as you say, this one looks like it is aimed just for kids. This one feels like it's only meant for kids, apart from the little joke. Oh, no, that's fine. No,
I was just going to say,
you
were just talking about a blowjob reference.
That's what I was about to say.
Okay.
So the only thing in there that I feel that is adult is the hint at a love life with a paving slab.
Okay, right. Trying to look for that now.
You don't see it. You don't see him there, the stood in the corner with you see the paving slab.
It's when they say we still do manage to have some form of love life.
Don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, Coop. Apart from that, I mean, I'm actually struggling because the whole episode is without the Doctor. It's weird to call this a Doctor Who episode, don't you think?
There are quite a few episodes out there that we refer to as Doctor Light episodes, and some of them are really good.
Dr. Light.
This was the first Doctor Light episode. The third one was Blink. And it's one of, I just said, it's one of my favourite Doctor Who stories, if not my favourite of the new series of Doctor Who, with the Weeping Angels.
There is a possibility that I am judging Love and Monsters on how good Blink was. And that is a possibility.
Midnight was the third one, which was
Midnight is only Doctor. It's not Doctor Light at all.
Oh no, sorry, it's the opposite way around. Sorry, I was turn left.
Yeah.
Turn left was
turn left. Yeah. I feel like it was their first. Sorry.
Was Blink wasn't a Dr. Light episode?
It was a very Dr. Light episode.
He only really featured in He only did, apart from the very end, featuring bonus features on DVDs.
Oh, because it was the two ladies viewing the house, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At the viewing house or whatever, exploring or whatever.
And one of them was sent back in time. Yeah, that's the one.
I suppose if you base this as an experiment which led to Blink, I can understand that it may not be as bad as other choices that are on the list. But I feel like if you don't take that into account, it's, I don't know, Ed likes it. Likes parts of it. I just find it bloody awful.
I won't say I like it, but yeah.
You like parts of it?
I understand its worth.
There are aspects. Yeah.
Parts of what? Sorry, this episode?
Yes. Well, I'm trying not... I will talk about it after.
No, that's absolutely fine. All I will say, are the aspects that you enjoy are that it eventually led to episodes like Blink?
No.
No, okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, right. Now then, Mr. Edward, some more about yours, sir.
Yeah.
Now, we have planets, we have, again, what I can see to be a relatively okay storyline. I'd say the storyline was actually better than Coop's, on the paper at least. So can you emphasize more why, or any particular scenes maybe that really stick out in your head and make this seem like where they really screwed this potentially fine storyline up? Someone came to the desk and said, look, I've got an idea for an episode, lads. Here's what it is, blah, blah, blah. He handed it off to the next person and then they fucked it up. What happened?
I think for me, it's all about pace with this. Right. It feels like the pace is all out of place. It's focusing on bits that it doesn't need to focus on to progress the story, and it's so difficult to explain. It's just one of those ones you know when you can just tell it's badly written throughout. I think it is just that it's just not. It feels like it could have been done well. And I first watched it and I was really trying to convince myself it was good. It was a discussion I was having with my son, and he thought it was a bit crap. And I think it wasn't. But I have to admit it was. And I made Flora watch this one as well, and I think she couldn't even pay attention throughout it. I don't know. There are characters there you should really enjoy, especially I keep trying to remember his name from James Buckley. That's who it was. Buckley
he's the completed it, mate.
Yeah, and that's the guy. And he's got his this character's son there, where he's a mechanic or whatever, but he's actually his son who knows how to do everything. There should be a really good relationship going between them, but no, he just seems like a dick. It feels like there are characters that should act.
Can you tell me more about this fakeation? I want to know the mechanics behind it. Obviously, there's that
big ass bubble.
It makes me think of the Red Dwarf episode where they're wearing VR headsets and they're detectives.
Okay, so what this is, imagine a big hologram resort. That's effectively what it is. So it's got invisible walls around it.
On an inhabitable planet.
On an inhabitable planet, yeah. And because this virus that was released out of a packet of crisps, it damaged the systems, then that means the creatures from outside could get into the resort.
Okay.
And that's
the outside of the dome isn't physical, it's a shield shell.
Yeah.
So it's like an ozone layer
it's like a force field. It's a force field around it. And so
it's a force field.
It damages the force field around it, which means the inhabitants of the planets could get in then and then start attacking people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I have my judgment.
I think we all know.
It's Ed. Ed gets a point.
Yeah.
You know the what swayed it for me actually. Obviously, Coop. I think when you were explaining your one, especially in that last little segment there, you it seems maybe it isn't as bad as it could be. I feel like what happened is you had to pick 10 bad episodes and you thought, oh, that one was fucking shit, I'll put that in.
And then I was like, I don't remember.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
This is where
that's the thing.
I find this strange because I remember Love and Monsters, and Love and Monsters came out in 2006. Orphan 52 came out not last year, the year before.
2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. And I've already forgotten most of it, and it was really difficult for me to remember it. It was one of the few on my shit list that I have not revised up on.
You don't appreciate. I didn't appreciate when we planned this how hard it is to talk about something that you don't find enjoyable and that you don't like.
Yeah.
Especially when you haven't. I should have bloody rewatched all of my bad episodes and all the good episodes before doing this, and
it's all a gamble, isn't it?
It is
there'll be 5 on that list that you remember everything about. You remember exactly why it pissed you off, and they are shit. They're notorious. Every other Whovian in the planet knows they're fucking shit and will be backing you up. And then there's the other 5 which you kind of had to think and muddle and fudge through. And if you get 2 episodes that one someone feels really strongly about, and the other one's just like, oh, this is actually a bit of filler, and I just had to pop it in.
Most things, if it's shit, you're not going to watch it anyway. So it's really difficult.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, not going to watch. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Especially as an episode that, as you say, was like 2005, was it?
2006.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't really. I have watched this. I remember that suit. I remember not knowing who Peter Kay was probably back then, or at least caring too much who he was. I've never really watched Phoenix Nights. But the thing that swayed me for that, and the reason why Ed got the point, is just the. No, not at all. No, it's the packet of crisps. Open a packet of crisps. Somehow that damages a force field, but it damages it enough for beings to be able to get in, but for the uninhabitableness to stay out. So they're obviously living fine, running around inside this environment. Are they?
Yeah, they're fine. They are questioned afterwards. Why did you decide to build it on this planet? Because it's cheap.
Yeah. It's the same reason why we build things in China. Doesn't necessarily mean we should do. But here we are. That was why. It kind of fucked me off. Things like this. I mean, again, sorry to keep going back to it, guys, but Red Dwarf, they're famed for coming up with all these wacky, crazy fucking things, like a white hole instead of a black hole. And then scientists going, actually, that makes sense. That's the thing. And so this sounds like the opposite of that. It sounds like they came up with the story and worried about the science afterwards. Whereas I believe, even though, of course, these are all mythical, made-up stories, creatures and science, it has to somewhat resemble the physics and nature as we know it. Obviously, I don't know anything about this fucking ozone layer force field thing, but the fact that a packet of crisps took it down ruined it entirely for me. And the fact that story, that bit or that excerpt managed to squeeze its way through onto the writing desk, I can only assume there's many more bits like that within the episode as well. Okay, gents, anything you would like to add about each other that you haven't mentioned?
Talk about what he likes about Love and Monsters.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I want to talk about this because it shows about how, once again, how the Doctor has affected and impacted individual people, like just the normal people of Earth, and this one guy who remembers seeing him as a child in his front room and he doesn't know why. But it also brings back bad memories, but he just can't explain it and he wants to know why he was there. And it's a nice way of like unify people, and it's just having fun. It's one of these ones that is having fun with itself because it was a build up to the finale. Unfortunately, they had Fear Her, which was also the shit list, but afterwards, I don't think it's that bad. And what I love about it as well is while they're trying to find out about the Doctor, he suggested to try and get familiar with Rose Tyler's mum.
Oh, I forgot completely about that.
He starts to get involved with her, like doing help around the house, handyman work. She's there thinking, "Oh, I'm in here," that. But he's only with her for one reason. And then eventually he finds a picture of Rose in his jacket pocket because she was going to slip some money in for a pizza that he was ordering for them. And then finds out that he's got a picture of his daughter. And he went, "Oh, it's not like that. It's not like that." And she goes, no, I know exactly what it's about. It's about her and the doctor. And it shows like how it's impacted her being alone. She lived there with her daughter for that long. And it really, it expands upon some backstory of Rose. Yeah, Peter Kay's character was a bit shit, but fuck's sake, we had the Slitheen before this, and they are fucking worse.
Which are from sister planets, aren't they?
Yeah, apparently they made that up. Yeah, what is it? The Peter Kay's character, he's from the planet Clom, which is a sister planet of Raxacorica Phallopsaurus.
And the Doctor, for some reason, comes out with, you look like a Slitheen or something like that. It's like, they don't look anything alike. It's a little bit racist, really.
Yeah. The other thing that I like about it, the reason the Doctor finds them, so he's being chased by this Absorbaloff, and then suddenly the TARDIS turns up, and then Rose steps out of the TARDIS, and the reason is there just to turn around to him and go, "You've upset my mum." Nobody upsets my mum, and that's the whole reason. There's a big green alien there, and the reason they're there is because she wants to have a word because she found out that he's upset her mum. And the other reason I like it, so this is all about this guy's video.
Elton,
diary.
That's his name.
Elton, yeah. It's the thing about his big video diary. And he then gets told why the Doctor was there. It was because there was, I can't remember what it was, like a shadow alien or something like that in the house. And it was the night that his mum died. And he'd blocked that from his memory. He mentally blocked that from his memory. And that's why he was there. And there was a bit of a touching moment there where it was like a flashback of him waving his mum in the field. And then his mum suddenly fades away. And it was really nice.
I completely
that explanation there.
Yeah.
It sounded much worse than what Coop said. If Coop said that, I would have chosen his was the fucking worst.
I completely forgotten all about the Jackie Tyler stuff. Completely just wiped it from my memory.
Yeah. And Coop, have you got anything to add about Ed's?
No.
Orphan 52.
When I looked at Ed's list, I was like, damn, I should have put that on mine.
Is it Orphan 52 or Orphan 55?
Oh. I don't know. Let's have a quick Google.
I think it's Orphan 55. Have I written it down wrong? I'm going to Google it.
Yeah, it's 55. It is 55.
It's that shit. I've forgotten what it is. Brilliant.
Yeah. Oh, God, that means that I remembered the name of it better in my head. That's horrible.
It was only when other people started saying it that I had to question it. So there was probably Doctor Who fans screaming throughout this part of the podcast.
It's 55!
Fucking hell!
At least it's been rectified now.
Yeah.
It's rectified now. Right, okay. Now it's time for round 3, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm looking forward to this.
Round 3. If you've made it this far, thank you. Well done. You are a true Pocket Knocker Whovian and Coop Cooper fanito. Now,
no, I don't need them.
we have to give these two lovely gents some doctors, and they have to come up with reasons after 5 minutes of research and Googling. Don't know what that's going to do for them, but that's going to give them they're going to have to come up with a story and why this character would actually be a good Doctor Who. All right then, and we'll spin for let's spin for Ed first this time, seeing as Coop spun first the first two times.
No. All right, then. Why not?
That means you go first as well in the explanation.
This is going to be an interesting round. Okay.
Very. Okay, let's see what the wheel gives you. Tick, 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 tick. You got Frasier!
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
It's not the one I wanted.
Ed has Frasier, ladies and gentlemen. Lives in New York.
Seattle.
San Francisco. Oh, Seattle.
I literally never watched an episode. But he's a psychologist and, well, not a very good one as well, as far as I know. So, Coop, let's spin the wheel for you,
I don't even know which one I would prefer it to be.
Tick, 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 tick. You got Dr. Evil. Okay. I mean, literally a bad guy. So, I don't know how that's going to work out.
Could work.
Hey, you're going to have to make it work, man. And you got 5 minutes to do so. We will catch you guys back in a second.
Okay, bye.
Right, let's see where we are.
Oh, look, rocks.
Let's go.
everyone, welcome back. We have had our they have had their 5 minutes research. Coop's not looking very confident in himself, and Ed is looking disappointed in me personally. Right.
No change?
Yeah.
Great idea. Terrible execution.
Okay, right, guys. I'm going to start off with Ed, and I'm going to be asking some questions. Right. Okay. I mean, first of all, why would, Frasier be a good Doctor Who?
Well, I think his, let's say his vocabulary and his accents, they're the closest we'd probably get from America that we get to English in a way. Very well spoken with. Don't look like that, Mike. Stick with me.
What the fuck are you doing?
So I think he would be a good fit for the character.
Because he talks English.
Yeah. I mean, it's the closest we'd probably get to the English accent over in America. That's what I'm trying to go to. Don't look at me like that, Michael. Well, and he's definitely got lots of words in his brain that he could use to throw out, all the whole reversing the polarity of the neutron flow in his own way. He's got a good way of talking to people, because that's his job. His job is talking to people. I think he's already got a nice set of companions set up there with his brother and Daphne, and his dad. Can come along. He could be like the Bernard Cribbins-esque character there. And fuck it. The Doctor had canine at one point. He's got a fucking dog as well. That's a good start, I think.
What's the dog's name again?
Eddie? Isn't it?
Possibly.
What was the question? Right. What was the dog's name?
Yeah. Oh. It was Eddie. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was. Fuck it.
Okay, no, don't hurt yourself. Stay there. All right. Coop, same question, sir. What makes Dr. Evil a good Doctor Who?
Should we just give it to it now? Dr. Evil would be the best Doctor. We already know that he can be multiple people. He's regenerated into other characters of his franchise in the past. He could be a fat bastard. He could be a gold member. He could be even an Austin Powers. But anyway, we know his obsession with his engineering skills. He likes to make things phallic, and what is more phallic than a sonic screwdriver? He's already got his companion in Mr. Bigglesworth, his naked cat. What would be amazing to see is a robotic version of Mr. Bigglesworth.
With a frickin' laser beam on its head.
With a frickin' laser beam attached to his head. Now, we all know that the Doctor is capable of both good and evil acts. Even though he is a good guy, he has done a lot of awful things in his past, and he still does awful things from time to time within the idea of the greater good. Now, Dr. Evil is obviously in his first 2 films, he is portrayed as a bad guy. But you eventually find out that he is a good guy, and most of his bad things don't work anyway, so he is a good guy. Well, there we go. He is a good guy. How loose are these threads? Don't pull on them, you cunt.
Oh, good. I tell you what, this is probably going to be the only time I'm in this position for quite some time until I'm doing it again, I'm sure. It's such a good feeling to watch you guys squirm as I ask questions. Okay.
Do you know how awful this is?
We'll have to have you on as a guest sometime, Coop, so you can be on the other end of it. Okay. Ed. If you're Dr. Frasier, who was going to, be good friends with another doctor, what doctor do you think they would be good friends with, and why?
I think it would be John Pertwee, the third Doctor, because he the John Pertwee, when people try to pretend they're a lot smarter than they are, he likes to put them in this place and just show them how ridiculous they are. And whilst Dr. Fraser Crane is there to listen to people, he can't stand people doing exactly the same thing. He thinks people, he puts himself in such high regard in comparison to other people that I think he would do so. And I think maybe they wouldn't be friends. Maybe they would argue with each other, but it would be an interesting relationship to see on screen.
Okay. Coop.
Yeah.
You mentioned that Bigglesworth would be the companion for Dr. Evil Who. That I don't know. I'm hands in the air. I don't bloody know, but I don't think.
Oh, there'll be other companions, but he would help along, Mr. Bigglesworth.
I feel like he's more of a tribute, literally a pet. So which companion from actual Doctor Who do you think would work well alongside Dr. Evil?
Oh. Well, to be fair, there are many times where his companions are treated as pets.
Yeah.
As in, they are there to keep him company whilst he does it. Okay, some of them help him out with giving him ideas he might not necessarily have thought of, but he does all the work mostly. Yeah. Companion-wise, Mr. Ooh, you bastard. I reckon he would get on well with. I reckon he would get on well with Clara Oswald in the middle segment where she was a bit shit because he's also. Well, they'll both be annoying together and they'll bounce off of each other. And let's face it, right? You're probably not going to ask this question, so I'll snip it in here. Is a little bit of a dig, but it's not probably a dig. Obviously, Fraser is a Doctor Who we know his name. Dr. Evil. Evil's not his name, not his real name. We don't know the Doctor's name. This is really loose. These threads are so fucking loose.
Okay, Ed. This question's for both of you, but I'll ask Ed first. Obviously, each Doctor dresses in their own certain way. They have a different thing. The scarf, the Chuck Taylors, whatever it might be. How would Fraser dress? No, he's not allowed to dress like he does. What would be his trademark?
I think he'd have a bowler hat.
Really?
Yeah. I think he would have a bowler hat. We've had a couple of doctors that would use an umbrella as they retire. So Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, they both had umbrellas. I think he'd go for the umbrella and bowler hat, very akin to say John Steed almost from the Avengers.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that kind of look, definitely. And he might even go for the John Steed style. Maybe his bowler hat would it could be like. He could use it to twats on tyrants in the back of the head and things like that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, and Coop, same for you, my love. What about trademarks and things? I know that Dr. Evil get-up is so iconic, but he's going to have to slip out of that. What are you thinking?
He's going to have to slip out of that. And he will slip out of it. Because as we all know, as Dr. Evil has said many times, there is nothing better than a freshly shaved scrote. So he's going to walk around with nothing but a shiny silver cock ring, and it will be Sonic.
Okay, and on that shiny cock end,
Sonic cock
Coop takes the point. And that is because, I mean, to be honest, it's a bit of a winner at the begin, wasn't it? I mean, he's already basically in a sci-fi set. It's very easy to see him on the set of Doctor Who, to be fair.
Really?
I would say so. Yeah.
You had it on. You had it from the spin, basically.
Yeah. But no, not just that. The way you put it, with regards to, the fact that he's already in charge of his own crew and everything like that. You did put a good spin on it, and I could genuinely see that happening. That'd be great.
When you asked Ed the first question, when you were asking about what Doctor he would be best with,
yeah,
I was getting prepared for that question. I didn't realise you were going to ask me a different question.
Yeah,
and it really fucking threw me.
yeah. I did that on purpose.
I was going to say Capaldi because we already know that he can act alongside and bounce off an annoying, bold person.
That's true. Yeah, he was with Matt Smith. Yeah. Not Matt Smith.
Matt Lucas.
I really wanted Quincy, just so I could go off the fact that his boat was this TARDIS and all those women he brings to his boat, his companions.
I'm more of a of course, Doc Robbins from CSI. Those of you who are long-time listeners probably know I'm a big fan of CSI. I would love to do one of these episodes about CSI, but literally no one else in the world likes it. So there's that. But Dr. Dre, I think, would have been a really good one.
I'm so glad I didn't get that.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, Coop wins this podcast.
I was not expecting that at all. I was convinced from the beginning that Ed was going to win.
Well done.
Because he is a bigger Doctor Who fan than I am, a better Doctor Who.
That doesn't make him a better man, does it?
No.
Now.
Well, maybe you should get him for Christmas a shiny Sonic cock ring.
What were you assuming I haven't got him one for his birthday?
I assumed that it was a different colour and it wasn't Sonic. It has to be Sonic.
Yeah, it's got pictures of Sonic on it.
Yeah.
It says "got to come fast" on it.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be introduced to Knuckles in no time.
Yeah. What a note to end on, everyone. That has been Coop Cooper. Thank you very much for joining us on this lovely podcast. Man, it's been great. And I've learned so much, guys. Thank you for teaching me. It wasn't as boring as I thought it would be.
You've changed your username again, Coop, just to try and make it easier.
Yes, and to be fair, it was all your fault. It was all your fault. You always mocked me about the zeros, and the only reason I did that is because there's some arsehole out there with the username that I wanted.
Yeah.
And he doesn't stream, or I'm assuming it's a he. And I tried to contact him and he wouldn't get rid of it.
This sounds like Dean all over again.
Yeah, done.
So in the end, I went with the Coop Cooper because no one had the at the beginning with hyphens in, but not hyphens, underscores between each word.
The underscore Coop underscore Cooper on Twitch. Go and follow.
Guys, if you didn't get that, it'll be in the link below, all that sort of stuff. But this has been great. I've learned so much, and there's actually a couple of episodes that I definitely want to watch now. Orphan 55 is not one of them. What was that? Coop?
Or Orphan 52.
So okay. The wife has just come in asking for tobacco, so I've thrown water. Yeah, she's been waiting out there for 10 minutes, apparently, waiting for me to get to a point where I can't. Oh, come here, you bastard. There we go. Sorry, the cat was just being a dick. Sorry, I'm back.
It's all fucking gone to shit in the Cooper household.
I just imagine she's been waiting outside that door for 10 minutes. So like, I don't want to disturb him. He's making a podcast.
Right, man. Of course, Ed the Penguin, bottom right. You can follow him on all your local things. Ed, you're streaming every day now?
Sunday to Thursdays.
Nice. And guys, Pocket Knockers, we're on Twitch, Twitter. That's it.
I don't know if you guys will agree to this, but I'll mention it anyway. There will be a YouTube version of our game show quiz on YouTube. If you guys want, you can put a link to it in the description.
Yeah,
if you want, don't worry if you're not. You can do it obviously a later date.
Yeah, we'll have to retrospectively.
On the YouTube video version, we'll update the description once it's there.
Yeah.
If you're watching this between November 26th and December the 17th, it won't be there.
Yeah. Afterwards, it'll be there.
You are presuming that people have got to the end of this and dealt with our shit for the last God knows how long.
Watch it in the new year. Right. It's been great fun, guys. And everyone listening, we have been the Pocket Knockers. Thank you for listening / watching. If you're not watching, then listen. If you're listening, then why don't you try watching? We will see you next time. All right.
Just rugby
Waving
fuckers.
sounds.
It sounded like that turtle coming.
Oh, John the Turtle.
John the Turtle!
Oh, shit, the bed.